everyone, my name is Chrissy and welcome to my channel. You may notice that we have a new place to film with not the best or flattering angles for me, but that's alright. I've recently got a camera, so I'm testing it out. Today I am doing the Person of Color Creator Tag. This was made by Yumi, the Book Demon, so I'm going to link her channel in the description below, along with the original video. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump into the questions. So the first question is, what ethnicities or races do you identify as? I identify primarily as Hispanic and Asian, with Puerto Rico for my dad's side of the family and Filipino for my mom. There are other identities in my family, however, those are the two primary ones that I identify with. So now for number 2, tell us something you love about yourself. Admittedly, I found this a little bit difficult because I am pretty self-deprecating. I don't really like to give myself a lot of compliments unless I'm in an argument with someone, and then I'll, inflate my ego a lot. But barring that, it's a little bit a stretch to say that I give myself compliments on any given basis. I would say that I like that I, allow myself to change my mind. I find that a lot of people tend to be so stuck in their ideas and opinions and thoughts. And sometimes, that can be a great thing, but in other times, if someone's having some opinions about other people that are not great, like bigoted opinions, that's not cool. So I do like that I can change my mind about certain subjects after I get information on them to hopefully better myself as a person. I don't know. Also, I've been told I'm kind of funny, a little bit, a schmeckle. Number 3 is, how long have you been in the book community? I've always been a reader and have gravitated towards other readers, but I joined the online book community back in 2018. I was going through a little bit of a rough patch and not dealing with things very well, so I decided to do a blog and podcast with some friends, and then I decided to start a YouTube channel that focused entirely on books. So for about 2 years. Number 4, what kind of content do you create? This is actually for non-bookish content. However, books are kind of my primary content source. I don't really film or make posts about anything else. But I'm hoping that'll change in the future. I bought this camera not just for my book content, but also to hopefully do other product reviews in the future. I don't know. I just like review videos, and I'd like to do that. Number 5 is, what's your favorite genre? Fantasy. It is always going to be fantasy. That is the primary genre that I've read since I was in middle school, probably in elementary school, just about. But in middle school is when I got into a high fantasy series called the Red Wall series by Brian Jacques, and ever since then, that's kind of all she wrote about it. Number 6, what are your top 3 favorite books? This is another hard one because how can you just have 3 favorite books? Like, it's awesome that Yumi put 3 favorites instead of just 1 favorite. Oh no! So it is awesome that Yumi put 3 books instead of just 1 favorite book, but it was still hard to pick even just 3. But the 3 books I chose, the first one is Divine Misfortune by Martinez. I am a big fan of fantasy with a lot of humor in it, and Martinez does a really good job of infusing humor into his books. Divine Misfortune is about a world where all the gods are real, and a lot of people will, pick a god to worship to in order to get like a little bit of luck, a little bit of advantage their way. And how this happens is there's a lot of like gods matching sites. So it's kind of like dating sites, except for matching to date, you're matching for the god you're going to worship. The next book I chose was The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hong. I picked this book because it's a good representation of romance books that I like. It has a lot of heart and a lot of sweet moments, and I just really liked the writing style that Helen Hong has. The third book I chose was The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. This book is a good representation of the kind of fantasy that I like, in that I like political intrigue almost above all others in high fantasy. I do like action scenes and magic and all those other elements of fantasy, but I don't know why, I love different nations and their politics and seeing the political intrigue that can happen. And The Goblin Emperor is just a really good example of the type that I like. So I heavily recommend it for those who don't mind not a lot of action. In fact, I don't really think it really has any. Like, there's not a war. There's not like major fight scenes. If you don't mind that in your fantasy, then this is a great book to go with. It's just really well written. Number 7 is tell us your favorite person of color authors. So Helen Hong has to be up there. As I said, I love her 2 novels. I'm hoping that she writes a 3rd with a certain character that I really like. Then there's Rebecca Roanhorse. Her Trail of Lightning book, the first one in that series, is just really good. I have Storm of Locusts. I haven't finished it. Also, her short stories are just really good as well. Then there's Jasmine Guillory. I really liked The Wedding Date and The Proposal, which are set in the same universe. There is a 3rd book. I forgot what it's called off the top of my head, but it's a hate to love story, and so I want to get that very badly. Enemies to lovers is a favorite trope of mine. And then there is Mildred D Taylor. Now, Mildred D Taylor I was a big fan of back in middle school. I read the I forgot what the series is called, but Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry was the first book I read of the series. It's not the first book in the series, but it really stuck with me. The main character I related to on the level of she was a tomboy, didn't really fit into the feminine stereotypes that gals are, looked to fit into. So I really hit home with that. 2 other authors I want to talk about that I recently read and liked their books. Mia Sosa, who wrote The Worst Best Man. It was a cute rom-com type book, and there's going to be another one set in that universe, but I'm going to look at some of her other books to see what they're like. And then there's Beverly Jenkins, who I read Belle, and it was a young adult historical romance. And she primarily, I think, does historical romance. So I'm going to check out some of her books, because I also heard that she puts like historical notes at the end of some of her books. So I'm going to check that out. Question 8 is, where can we find you outside of YouTube? I'm primarily on Twitter. I just started a TikTok account. And I also have a blog site called thereturncart.com. I'll link my handles in the description down below. Number 9 is shouting out some awesome person of color creators. This was a little bit hard because I follow a lot of really amazing creators, and I didn't want to overload this video with a lot of minutes, mainly because I don't really have a lot of minutes. So I really just picked 3 to talk about, but I will be linking more down in the description below. I heavily encourage people to go and check them out. Now, the 3 I'm going to talk about all have qualities of a creator that I want and don't necessarily have. So the first one is Noria at Noria Reads. Now, if someone were to ask who talks the most passionately about the books they read, I would say Noria. The amount of enthusiasm she puts into her videos is amazing. She talks, very passionately about the books that she likes. And I just really love her personality that shines through. Then there is Seji at The Artisan Geek. Now, out of the 3 people that I picked to talk about, Seji is one that I was recently introduced to, but I wanted to talk about because there are times when I'm talking about certain pieces of literature or work that I wish I was smarter, or that I put my thoughts in a better and more concise way. Seji just does such a good job of talking about the books that she's read, talking about classics and facts, and just being extremely knowledgeable in the subject that she's talking about. And third is Princess at Castle Library. Princess is a gamer, and I love that. I love how she incorporates that into her videos. It's very creative, and I just like her personality on camera. I think she's very charismatic. Now, as far as tags go, I'm going to put them in the description below. I will say that any person who is a person of color who wants to do this tag, please feel free to do the tag. I would love to see them. So please link them in the comments, or you can always, DM me on Twitter and stuff. That is my video. That's my tag. We got through it. We're good here. Thank you so much for watching. And as always and forever, may you get lost in a book.